Happy Spookies, everybody! I hope you're all doing well, having a most excellent day. And today, I want to briefly talk about a movie I watched on Tubi, and it is called Onyx the Fortuitous and the Talisman of Souls.
I've been invited to Bartok's mansion to take part in a once-in-a-lifetime ritual in which he, along with 5 of his most loyal followers, will attempt to raise the spirit of the ancient demon, Abaddon.
You're not going anywhere until you scoop that litter box.
Now, this was written and directed by Andrew Bowser, who also stars in the film. I had no idea previous to this movie, but he has built up this character over several years of this kind of quirky, very unusual character, very odd fella. If you're not familiar with it, it can be very off-putting. When I first went into the movie, it took a little bit, but he eventually did grow on me. The character that he made, Onyx the Fortuitous, is the main lead of this movie here. And again, he's very just unusual, very, very sort of like oddball character. But at the same time, you can almost relate to him. And the movie has this sort of like charm that kind of comes out of nowhere. And it has a lot more heart to it than it seems. I am getting a little ahead of myself, so brief breakdown of the plot. This is about Onyx the Fortuitous. He is living at home with his parents, well, his mom and his stepfather. He doesn't have the best life, he's cooking burgers. He does love his job, it seems, but just the people there are not very respectful towards him. A lot of the customers, especially like a regular bully, they come and give him a hard-ass time. Stuff at home with his stepfather. Just his life is just not the best right now, especially since, he is himself. And this movie is basically about, embracing who you are and accepting who you are and how shitty the fucking world is to those people who are a little different. So one night when he's down on his luck, he ends up getting an email because he had entered a contest for this occultist group that he follows, of this one leader called, I can't remember the guy's name, Arbatok the Great or something like that. One night where he just feels like, everything is too much, he ends up getting an email where he is the winner along with 4 other people, and they have all been chosen to help participate in some ritual where they're going to raise the demon Abaddon or something like that. So he goes over to the mansion along with 4 other people that he meets. Each one of them are very funny individuals, and from here on out, there's just a bunch of just craziness, and I don't want to give away too much of what happens. But now the movie also stars Olivia Taylor-Dudley, Rivka Reyes, I'm sorry if I said that wrong, Melanie Chandra, Terrence C. Carson, Arden Mirren, Jeffrey Combs, and Barbara Crampton. Now, I really wish Barbara Crampton was in this a lot more, but we do get quite a bit of Jeffrey Combs, who is just fully embracing the character of Bartok, or whatever his name. I think it's Bartok. I forgot what I said earlier. Fully embracing the character of Bartok the Great. As always, Jeffrey Combs gives it his 100% in every role, fully commits. We also have another character, Mr. Duke, played by Terrence C. Carson. I recognize this dude from Final Fantasy. Sorry, I've been playing a lot of Final Fantasy. I recognize this dude from Final Destination number 2. But one of the main people I really want to bring up is, how do I say her name? Arden Mirren as Shelly. Now, I'm familiar with her. She does very little roles. The one that really came to mind when I was watching this movie was her role in this movie called Satanic Panic. And that's another... I highly recommend that movie. It's a very fun movie. Very fun movie. But this lady plays this sort of quirky role in almost all these movies that I've seen her in, or just that she happens to pop in. I don't know how to explain it, but it's just anytime she's on the screen, she's very fun, and it's like I said, just quirkiness and something about her facial expressions. It's so funny. She's spot on. She's very funny in the other movie as well, but this one, I love it. Apparently, like I said, this dude was building a sort of following with this character on YouTube and stuff like that. He would go to like gaming conventions and would be interviewed there in character. And I think in 2020, he ended up starting a crowdfunding and Kickstarter sort of campaign and developed this movie here, which I think everyone should check it out. It's streaming for free on Tubi. I'm gonna go ahead and get into some little spoilers here and there. So if you haven't seen the movie, feel free to go check it out and come back. I'm not really going to spoil the ending, just a couple little things I want to talk about. So one of the biggest things I want to talk about is the character himself, Onyx the Fortuitous. You will probably find this guy very annoying right off the bat, for sure. Like I said, it took me a little bit, but he eventually did grow on me, and I ultimately really love this character. I find him very relatable in the sense where a lot of people growing up, as well as I did, always just felt like we didn't belong. And this is that type of character where he just feels like he just doesn't belong. It's the sort of personality that he has, but that's who he is. He does this thing throughout this movie where he, right after his sentence, he goes, I don't know. So as he's talking, like I am right now, and as soon as his sentence finishes, I don't know. He does that where he says, I don't know, really fast. And I was wondering, like, why? Maybe he's just, that's just what he does. I don't know. But there is a reasoning to that, and that really caught me off guard. There's a sort of backstory that you find out with why he says that, and it really, at this point in the movie, I was really invested in the character. I had turned around on him. I was like, man, this guy's awesome. I have no issue with him at all. He's very funny, as in awkward funny, But yeah, when you get to that little part of the backstory of why he says, I don't know, it is very for me at least, it was very emotional. You know what it reminded me of? If you ever watched Game of Thrones, God, that fucking show, please. Anyway, yeah, if you've ever watched Game of Thrones, they do a sort of Hodor moment, hold the door / Hodor moment, and you get this reveal as to why he says, I don't know. Which he's saying, I don't know, but in this flashback that we get, he starts repeating it, I don't know, and he shortens it to, I don't know. And it just totally reminded me of fucking, hold the door. That show, man, Game of Thrones was something else, but it just ended so poorly. God damn it, I hate it. Another thing I want to talk about are the practical effects. Once we start seeing these sort of like demons, and there's like this oversized bird squeezed in this box that kind of reveals like deep secrets that you've been hiding from yourself to you. It's just so random, like, what is this fucking thing? But it was so cool to see. There's like a couple of demons in the movie, and again, they're practical effects. There's zombies / ghouls, which I guess there is a difference. I mean, yeah, I think a zombie is just more of like mindless dead thing, and a ghoul, I don't think a ghoul is mindless. But anyways, yeah, the practical effects in this movie were just so fun, so refreshing to look at. There's a scene where they're going one by one, and they're sort of revealing like these characters, their bloodline, what's so special about them. Somebody is like the witch, somebody has like lichen blood in them, somebody is a queen in their past life. But when they get to Onyx the Fortuitous, she turns the page and his is just like the fucking fat belly virgin. And there is so much humor after that with him kind of just complaining about him being selected as the virgin, and just the jokes that follow are just fucking top notch. I just want to give it a shout out to Jeffrey Combs. He just kills it in this movie, fully embraces it. He also reminds me of a character when he played H.P. Lovecraft in one of these, like this horror anthology, the Necronomicon, the Book of the Dead. And he kind of reminded me of that character in a bit. But this movie just really caught me off guard, and I really think people should give it a chance. Again, people are going to watch this and probably hate it right off the bat just because of Onyx, but there's a part like that really won me over right at the beginning. Right before this part happened, I was just kind of like rolling my eyes. I'm like, oh my God, this dude. But after he had a really, really shitty night at work, with customers, some of his employees. There's a funny scene with him trying to get a new name tag. His name tag, his name is like Marquay Dickberry. So the lady just tells him, just pick another one out of that box. And he comes back with the name tag Pussy Hound. But yeah, he just has a really shitty night, and he's sitting in bed and he's kind of just moping to himself, and he's talking about he really wishes he had a better life. And I think that's where the character himself really started to change for me. And I started seeing him sort of differently and really sympathize with him. And yeah, I don't know. This movie just really caught me off guard. A lot of heart. Also, a shout out to just the other characters in the movie. All of them bring, a little bit of different personality, and I just really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed the character Mac, who I think becomes like the love interest, it seems like. Mr. Duke was great. Again, Shelley, played by Arden Mirren, was fucking awesome. Barbara Crampton just needed to be in this a little bit more, in my opinion. But yeah, overall, this was just a very fun movie. I think I rated it 4 stars. I should have rated it 4.5. I really, really enjoyed this. But anyways, I'm going to end it here. Happy Spookies.